Those who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30-plus year career in Hollywood. And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it.
Well, it's still getting messier and messier in the It Ends With Us feud between co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
At times where people ignore the red flags and say, let's just keep pushing, those are the times where you fail. The majority of things that we're buying are created by men. You always learn more from your failures than you do your successes.
Blake Lively just vanished. Bags packed, country left behind, and the internet is in chaos. The industry was already drowning in drama. But this sent shockwaves through Hollywood. For months, tension simmered between Blake and director Justin Baldoni. Whispers turned into leaked texts, and fans took sides. But no one expected her to bolt the very same day Justin unleashed fresh, damning evidence. Coincidence? Hard to believe. With rumors spreading faster than a viral tweet, everyone's asking, did she flee the fallout, or is there something bigger at play? The roots of this chaos stretch back to the early days of Justin's much-hyped film project, one that had everyone buzzing thanks to his signature emotional storytelling. Blake was the obvious choice, polished, beloved, and a master at winning over audiences. At first, everything seemed smooth. Justin praised her energy, and Blake joked about how rewarding it was to be part of such a powerful adaptation. But behind the scenes, clearly something explosive was brewing. At first, everything looked smooth, no obvious signs of trouble. But as the cameras rolled, murmurs started. Crew members whispered that Blake, usually easygoing, seemed on edge around Justin. And Justin? He wasn't just directing. He co-wrote the script and planned to star. A triple threat, but was that too much control? Some insiders speculated that Blake, used to more creative freedom, felt boxed in. At first, fans brushed off the rumors. Just another case of professional clashes on a high-pressure set, right? But then, boom, a media storm hit. Headlines painted Blake as difficult, distant, even uncooperative. And she wasn't having it. She fired back, claiming Justin was pulling the strings behind the scenes, using his power as director to control the narrative and damage her reputation. With Hollywood more alert than ever to media manipulation, Blake's claims struck a nerve. She described a set where her concerns were dismissed, where Justin had a near-total grip on decision-making. And for a while, public opinion leaned her way. Many saw her frustration as part of a bigger issue, the way female leads are sometimes sidelined while male directors dominate the creative process. But just when Blake seemed to have the upper hand, Justin hit back, hard. He dropped unredacted text logs, and suddenly, the narrative flipped. These weren't vague, cherry-picked messages. They showed Justin actively consulting Blake, asking for her input, and even shifting schedules to accommodate her. Not exactly the dismissive, power-hungry director she had painted him as. And then came the real shocker. Fans spotted references suggesting Blake had threatened to flex her influence. And not just hers. She allegedly hinted that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, could step in if Justin didn't fall in line. That revelation had people wondering, was this a genuine creative clash? Or was something bigger being orchestrated behind the scenes? The plot thickened when Ryan's name kept surfacing. Blake referred to him as one of her dragons, a term left frustratingly vague but loaded with implications. Was Ryan using his Hollywood clout to sway the narrative? Had he subtly worked behind the scenes to paint Justin in a negative light? Speculation hit a fever pitch, but before anyone could untangle the Ryan angle, the real bombshell dropped. Blake's own attorney abruptly resigned. And his parting words? A cryptic statement suggesting that Blake's version of events didn't exactly match the documented facts. Just like that, the drama snapped right back to her. Hollywood attorneys are known for handling drama behind closed doors, so when Blake's own lawyer suddenly quit and hinted that her claims didn't line up with the facts, the industry was floored. That alone was enough to make headlines. But then, Justin made good on his warning. If Blake kept framing him as dismissive or manipulative, he'd drop more receipts. And he did. Big time. This time, he didn't just leak a few texts. He released an extensive timeline of messages. Thicker, more detailed, spanning from pre-production all the way to the final day on set. And what did they show? Justin wasn't shutting Blake out. He was consistently trying to keep things smooth. The messages showed him apologizing for any missteps, shifting schedules to accommodate her, and actively asking for her creative input. Insiders even confirmed that, for months, the set seemed cooperative, not combative. But the real shocker? Private messages Blake allegedly sent to her inner circle. In them, she appeared to discuss ways to strategically frame Justin as a flawed leader, timing certain revelations about postpartum struggles and production concerns to coincide with key promotional moments for the film. If true, it wasn't about speaking out. It was about timing it for maximum impact. And while Ryan Reynolds' direct involvement wasn't explicitly mentioned in these leaks, those cryptic phrases resurfaced. References to my circle and her so-called dragons. Whatever those terms meant, one thing was clear. Blake wasn't acting alone, and she knew she had heavyweight backup if she needed it. And just like that, Blake was gone. Right after Justin's latest receipts hit the public, she vanished without a trace. No explanations, no damage control, just silence. Reports surfaced that she abruptly canceled multiple engagements, including a major promo event for an entirely separate project. Her management? No comment. The mystery deepened. Then came the leaks. Flight records suggested she boarded a private jet with barely any luggage and only a skeleton crew. Soon, grainy photos emerged. Blake spotted in an airport lounge, sunglasses on, hat pulled low, looking tense. No smiles, no waves, none of the usual charm. Just a woman on a mission to disappear. The internet exploded. Was this a calculated retreat? A strategic move to dodge the backlash? Or had the pressure genuinely broken her? Public opinion fractured. Some sympathized, saying that no matter what the evidence showed, the sheer weight of public scrutiny had to be overwhelming. Others weren't buying it. If she truly believed in her side of the story, why flee instead of facing Justin's claims head-on? And Justin? His response was calm but cutting. He didn't gloat or escalate. He simply reiterated what he'd been saying all along. His only goal was to protect the film's creative vision and his own professional reputation. But with Blake gone, the question remained. Was this the end of the saga, or just the beginning of something even bigger? Publicly, Justin kept his tone measured. He expressed regret that things had escalated so far that Blake felt the need to leave. But he didn't hold back either. If these latest messages were legit, he said, then there was no more guessing about who had really been spinning the narrative. And just like that, attention shifted to Ryan Reynolds. For weeks, whispers swirled that Ryan had been working behind the scenes with Blake to undermine Justin. But now, with Blake's sudden exit, he was the one left holding the bag. Reports claimed he was in damage control mode, frantically working the phones, calling PR teams and legal advisors, trying to contain the fallout before it tainted his own career. And in what every comedic actor dreads, the headlines stopped being about his quick wit or upcoming projects. Instead, his name was now tied to leaked texts and growing speculation about whether he had played a direct role in orchestrating the chaos. Adding another layer to the mess, TJ Miller, who had previously claimed Ryan was more involved than people realized, suddenly went quiet. No more explosive reveals, no new dirt. When pressed in interviews, he simply said he was letting the latest evidence speak for itself. And in a way, it did. Many had dismissed his claims before, but now. Justin's receipts seemed to back up key parts of TJ's story, especially the allegations about planned media hits and timed leaks meant to sabotage the film from within. Hollywood insiders couldn't believe the scale of the meltdown. Blake and Ryan, once the industry's golden couple, known for their polished image and effortless banter, were now tangled in a crisis that wasn't just threatening one film, but their entire brand. Some producers were already hinting at reconsidering upcoming deals. Because in Hollywood, public perception isn't just important, it's everything. When two A-listers are suspected of secretly smearing a director, studios get nervous, one anonymous executive admitted. Projects thrive on trust, and if an actor's behind-the-scenes behavior seems too unpredictable, suddenly they're a liability. Even fans felt the fallout. Social media turned into a war zone. Some were convinced Justin's receipts were undeniable proof of Blake's manipulation. Others still held out, arguing the messages were missing context. Was her sudden flight an act of emotional self-preservation after being unfairly cast as the villain? Or was it a strategic retreat to avoid legal trouble if defamation claims came knocking? And then, the conspiracy theories took off. Was she secretly regrouping with Ryan in some hidden retreat? Plotting a tell-all from exile? Speculation ran wild, but so far, no hard proof. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Justin's film crew finally exhaled. To them, the truth was out. After months of drama overshadowing their work, they could finally focus on what they had set out to do: create a film that was meant to be meaningful and emotionally powerful. But with Hollywood watching every move, the real question remained. Is this saga truly over, or is there one final twist waiting to drop? Some insiders admitted, sure, minor conflicts happened on set. That's normal in any high-stakes production. But did anything justify the media firestorm that erupted once whispers of Justin's so-called inattentiveness spread? Absolutely not. By dropping those full text logs, Justin didn't just clear his own name. He also validated the crew members who had quietly stood by him, too afraid to speak up in the face of the scandal. Meanwhile, the hunt for Blake was in full swing. Fans tracking airport sightings placed her in a swanky European city, a go-to escape for celebrities caught in the middle of a PR nightmare. Then came the hotel rumors. A staff member let it slip that a woman who strongly resembled Blake Lively, oversized sunglasses in place, had checked in under a different name. But when paparazzi descended, she was gone. No trace, which only fueled the theories. Was she slipping further off the grid, vanishing into a true hideaway where cameras couldn't follow? Or was this all part of a master plan, a dramatic reemergence, perfectly timed with a carefully crafted explanation that could flip the narrative on Justin's so-called misleading receipts? One thing was clear: Hollywood's golden girl wasn't untouchable anymore. Just months ago, Blake was celebrated for her quick wit, philanthropy, and flawless social media presence. Now, that once perfect image had cracks. And with her sudden disappearance, the question loomed: was this retreat temporary? Or was the Blake Lively the world knew gone for good? The timing of Blake's disappearance, so perfectly aligned with Justin's latest evidence drop, felt like a closing chapter. And just like that, everything else faded. Her brand deals, in limbo. Her upcoming roles, uncertain. In Hollywood, reputations shift at lightning speed, and when the illusion of creative harmony shatters into exposed leaks and calculated spin, the fallout is brutal. But while Blake vanished, Justin stepped into the spotlight. He made one thing crystal clear: the film would be completed and released, no matter how much controversy tried to consume it. He refused to let the drama define the project. During media Q&A sessions, he admitted the scandal had cast a shadow over production, but the story at the film's core still deserved its moment. And then came the cast. One by one, they spoke out, praising Justin's leadership, his calm amid the chaos, his steady hand despite the swirling allegations. Some even framed the entire ordeal as a cautionary tale, proof of how unchecked star power can hijack and distort creative work when wielded the wrong way. As for Blake, her next move is a mystery. If she planned to lay low until the storm passed, she might have miscalculated. Because with Justin's latest receipts breathing new life into the controversy, the conversation isn't dying down. It's only getting louder. And now, the world isn't just questioning why she left, but what she might have been running from. She had no defense, no rebuttal. And now the only question left is what's next. Some speculate that in a few months, Blake might attempt a carefully crafted PR comeback. A polished apology, a tearful interview, a recontextualization of those damning text messages. Others aren't so sure. Maybe she'll stay in the shadows, waiting for Hollywood to move on to its next big scandal before even thinking about resurfacing. And then there's Ryan. With Blake off the grid, likely tucked away in some ultra-private retreat, what would he do? Stay behind, face the fire alone, or quietly slip away, solidifying suspicions that this was a coordinated escape? If he disappears too, it's game over. No one will believe this wasn't a calculated move to dodge accountability. Already, the press is all over him. Headlines are hammering the same question. Why won't he address the infamous dragons Blake referenced? Was the couple's famous online banter just a smokescreen for something more strategic behind the scenes? Theories are everywhere. And then there's TJ Miller. After initially taking a step back, he's now speaking up again. He admits some of the newly leaked receipts, they line up with things he'd heard about but never had proof of. For him, it's validation. Justin's text logs confirmed what he had long suspected, giving real weight to allegations that once seemed like speculation. TJ insists he never wanted chaos. His goal was never to throw everyone under the bus, but to expose the truth in a situation clouded by spin and misdirection. And now, that truth is out in the open. Whether Blake and Ryan will ever address it, that's a question only time can answer. In interviews, he expressed regret. Blake feeling so cornered that she had to flee was unfortunate. But he made one thing clear. That was a consequence of her own behind-the-scenes moves, not some orchestrated takedown by him or Justin. Hollywood insiders say it could take months, maybe years for this firestorm to fully settle. Sure, the industry loves a redemption arc, and some believe Blake could eventually claw her way back if she directly confronts the controversy. But with Justin's latest evidence out in the open, any comeback would be an uphill battle. If the logs reveal a pattern of manipulation, fans and colleagues might struggle to reconcile that with the warm, likable persona she carefully crafted over the years. Still, not everyone is writing her off just yet. Some insiders speculate that Blake's dramatic exit could actually earn her sympathy in certain circles. Hollywood is a pressure cooker, and scandals take a brutal psychological toll. Maybe she wasn't plotting a calculated escape. Maybe she just needed out before the weight of it all crushed her. But nuance rarely survives in a media frenzy. And right now, the dominant narrative is clear. Her retreat looks like an admission of guilt. No matter how Blake's disappearance is ultimately interpreted, one thing is undeniable. This saga proves just how fast alliances can shatter when private messages go public. Through it all, Justin has kept the same stance, calling for civility, insisting he holds no grudge, and refusing to let the scandal derail his film. But with the industry still buzzing, one question lingers. Will Blake ever break her silence? In an industry growing more wary of behind-the-scenes power plays, one thing is certain. Blake's exit wasn't just a coincidence. Whether those leaked messages were truly the final straw or just part of a bigger reckoning, the timing tells its own story. Once a name synonymous with effortless red carpet charm and playful banter, she's now attached to whispers of controversy, manipulation, and a sudden shadowy retreat to parts unknown. As the days pass, fans are left waiting. Will she break her silence with a heartfelt statement? Will paparazzi finally track her down in some luxurious hideaway? Or will she stay silent, letting the world piece together its own conclusions? With no answers, speculation only grows. Some see her as a mastermind, strategically dodging a fallout. Others paint her as a public figure crushed under the weight of scandal. Meanwhile, Justin stays locked in, wrapping up the film and keeping the focus on the work. TJ Miller watches from the sidelines, ready to speak up again if the story shifts. And so, the saga continues, a chilling reminder of just how fast Hollywood illusions can crack. Even the most beloved stars can find themselves exiled when new receipts drop and the truth, or at least the version that sticks, turns against them. One day, you're the golden face of a major project. The next, you're boarding a private jet, hoping distance will smother a wildfire fueled by text logs, leaked strategies, and a director unwilling to let spin rewrite the story. And that's where we leave it, for now. But you know how Hollywood works? This isn't over. What do you think? Is Blake plotting her next move, or is this the final chapter? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop. This story's far from done, and we'll see you in the next one.